Well, hello and welcome to Not Your Normal Sunday. And I don't have the right background up, do I? I don't have the right background up. We need to get a better background because that is our Late Night in the Heartland background. But don't worry, because tomorrow night we'll be back at 10 p.m. with more Late Night in the Heartland. That is 10 p.m. Central Time. And until then, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a great Not Your Normal Sunday program going on for you right now. And we're looking forward to having a super good time, but we're looking forward to dropping some information on some of you that is not going to be completely comfortable. And some of you aren't going to like it, but that's okay. That's sort of what I do, ladies and gentlemen. That's sort of what I do. And I just want to put this background up. And why won't it let me? Oh boy, it's always fun when you have things that don't go the way you want them to go. It gives you a chance to grow, right? Gives you a chance to become better. Gives you a chance to become stronger. Gives you a chance to become more like you want to be. And I guess it's just not going to work right now. Who knows what's going on, and I don't even care. We're just going to rock through this thing today. And I appreciate you. And right off the bat, let's get to something that's been kind of bugging me. And this is going to kind of bug some of you, but that's kind of what I'm in. I'm in the bugging business. I got my HempWorks shirt on today. And somebody says, what is HempWorks? HempWorks is the CBD group that I work with. It's number one for a reason. CBD has been very, very helpful in my life. Helps you just chill out, helps you be more focused and in your analytical mind, helps you with chronic pain. And you use CBD anyway. A lot of you do. So I'm just asking you to use it through me and help me make a few shekels every now and then. Now, because of my affiliation and my talking about CBD, I'm getting an increasing number of annoying emails, an increasing number of annoying messages, an increasing number of annoying contents from annoying people that aren't thinking. And in so doing, they are proving my point. Basically, I'm getting things like, well, Jeff, you're against drinking, you're against being high, you're against licking frogs, you're against the psychedelics, but you're for CBD. Why? Well, that shows that you are operating in a retarded fashion. Your mental capacities have been retarded, or you wouldn't ask that question. Your spirituality is retarded, or you wouldn't ask that question. And your emotions are retarded, or you wouldn't ask that question. Because the thing that is in focus is the reduction of your analytical mind. And I know you don't like it, and I know this is going to upset people, but it's what's keeping you from being all you're supposed to be. Whenever you reduce your analytical mind, you are open and available for engrams or demonic circuits, because I'm just trying to get you guys where you can understand. So, do you think that you are constantly under MK Ultra attack or not? Yes or no? Do you think that we're constantly under mind control assault? Yes or no? Do you think that we're constantly under electronic bombardment from folks that want to control our minds? Yes or no? Do you think that we're constantly under media bombardment by folks that want to control our minds? Yes or no? Do you think that we're constantly under chemtrail bombardment by people that want to control our mind? Yes or no? Are we constantly under bombardment by people that want to control our minds by what we eat? Yes or no? That being the case, we are constantly under MK Ultra bombardment, like Cynthia says, constantly bombarded from all sides in all ways. And that is absolutely 100% true. We are constantly bombarded from all sides in all ways. So let me ask you this. How long are you willing to go without protection? Let's say that you were going to have sex with a prostitute that you know had full-blown AIDS. I wouldn't do it. That's part of my point. But let's just say that you were feeling risky. How many pumps are you willing to give without a condom? And how many pumps are you going to use with a condom? How many pumps are you willing to go without a condom? Let's say you're going into battle and there's bullets flying everywhere. Are you willing to wear half a body armor or a whole body armor? Are you willing to go with a vest unzipped or a vest zipped? Jeff, what in the hell are you talking about? Stay with me. You're living in constant bombardment from all sides and all ways of MK Ultra. And yet some of you are making the decision to drink alcohol and get a buzz. When you have a buzz, your analytical mind is reduced. Oh, it's just a little bit, but it's still reduced. And that is a little bit. A bullet only needs a little bit. An MK Ultra only needs a little bit. So if you're willing to get drunk, get a buzz, you're willing to reduce your analytical mind a little bit, and you're willing to open yourself to MK Ultra demonic circuits. You're willing to open yourself to Ingrams. And if you're willing to hit that joint or hit that bong and get a buzz, get high, you're reducing your analytical mind. And you're willing to take the chance. It's like putting your, into that HIV prostitute, or allowing an HIV positive prostitute to put his into you. That's your choice. But the point of this whole thing is that CBD doesn't reduce your analytical mind. In fact, it probably increases your analytical mind because it helps manage chronic pain. It helps manage messed up attitudes and gives you that calm baseline. It brings homeostasis. So don't give me any more of those retarded emails. They're retarded because it shows that your brain is retarded, your spirit's retarded, and your emotions are retarded. They're retarded, meaning they're not fully working. And a lot of you that write them are probably high when you write them. So I know this is the hard line. But you know it's true. And if you don't like it, don't watch, but you'll be back because you're hooked. You can't quit me. You can't quit me because you know I'm giving you the truth. Something inside you knows I'm giving you the truth. Something inside you knows I'm giving you the truth. And you can't quit me. And as long as you keep getting a buzz, it's going to drop your analytical mind, period. And when you drop your analytical mind, you open yourself up to the MK Ultra mind control, constant bombardment from all sides and all ways. So it's your choice. How lucky do you feel? How risky is your business gonna be? I recommend you don't do it at all. I recommend you don't get buzzed. I recommend you don't get buzzed, period. Why? Because it reduces your analytical mind and you're going to get it. And let me give you something else. If there is a group out there that is trying to target people that are of the aware mindset. And if there are spiritual sentries or incorporeal sentries that are looking and watching, what are the chances, if that were true, what are the chances that they're just looking and watching and waiting for an aware person to catch a buzz so they can focus that MK Ultra on them at that particular moment? And you don't think they can focus MK Ultra? Get Dagger, and see, I love this, but Get Dagger is the only one with the guts to come at me, because a lot of you are thinking the same thing, but he's saying, he's talking, and we'll open the phone lines at the end. But don't you get a buzz from coffee shop and caffeine? Think about what you're saying. When I'm talking about lowering your analytical mind, caffeine doesn't lower your analytical mind. No, it probably raises your analytical mind. Probably raises your analytical mind. So no, good question. All this because I want you to buy CBD from me so I can make a few shekels and you can get what you need from it. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. And I noticed a lot of people, let me go back some of these, there were some great comments here, and then we'll actually get in to what we're here to talk about today. There were some really, really good comments about, let's see, why somebody was saying, why do you think they do it? Why do you think they do it? Why do you think they left the liquor stores open during the lockdowns? You have to be in control. I'm the same way. Well, Estelle, if you're not in control, somebody else will be. You get to choose who it's going to be. You get to choose who it's going to be. They throw everything at us to see what sticks, and they constantly throw everything at us to see what sticks. Constantly. Let's see, double bag it. That's my thought, is to double bag it. CBD is also in mangoes, dark chocolate. Our endocrine system has CBD in it. How about that? Why do you think the deep state lawmakers are legalizing cannabis? It's not because they love you. It's not because they're wanting. Great point, Tracy. I know I saw a really good comment in there. It's not because they love you. It's not because they want to give you freedom. It's not because they've realized, oh, you know what? We've been wrong all these years. We've been taking away people's rights to cannabis. We're sorry. We love you. We are getting better. We're going to legalize it because we love you, because we care about you. If you believe that, then your mind is retarded, your spirit's retarded, and your emotions are retarded. If you believe that, you're retarded. You're really, really retarded. In the real true meaning of retarded, you're retarded. Because the deep state doesn't love you. The deep state doesn't care about you. The deep state wants you numb and dumb. They want you buzzed by alcohol, or they want you buzzed on cannabis. They want your analytical mind reduced. Why? So they can focus. If you're aware, they can focus their MK Ultra on you and get you unaware. And if you're not aware, they can keep you unaware, sitting around in your underwear, eating Cheetos and hitting that bong. Jeff, you know you've just pissed off everybody because everybody likes to get high. And you know, I'm just going to go all the way. I'm just going to go all the way. Can we talk about anxiety? Well, I use marijuana for my anxiety. You know what? Sometimes anxiety is just an excuse for irresponsibility. Oh, Jeff, now you done pissed everybody off. What are you trying to say? I'm trying to say this, ladies and gentlemen. And don't turn this into something else, Linda. That's not what we're here for. I got to get high because it helps with my anxiety. Well, you know what? Sometimes your anxiety is there because Your anxiety is trying to tell you to get your ass in gear. Some of you got anxiety because you ain't working no job. Some of you got anxiety because you're still living in your mom's basement and you're 40 years old. Others of you got anxiety because you know you got a job to do and you ain't doing it. Some of you got anxiety because you know that you're living a world where you're working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, building somebody else's dream, and you've got a great basic purpose, and you're here to flourish and prosper, and you know you're not doing it because you got, and that makes you have anxiety. Sometimes what you call anxiety is responsibility saying, language alert, wake the fuck up. So some of y'all are medicating responsibility. And Deborah asked a great question. Can you trust government-approved pot shops? Of course you can trust the government, Deborah. They love you. So am I trying to get you all mad? Am I trying to hate on all of you? No. I'm just trying to make you live in the real world. I'm trying to get you to realize what's going on, because a lot of you and a lot of you young people, I know you got it bad right now. You got it bad. The system is set up to make you fail. They've conned you into going to college and getting a bunch of debts. And you feel the weight of that responsibility. I got all these debts, and I'm still managing the McDonald's. And I take my hat off to the guys and girls that didn't go to college and started working at McDonald's and became a crew chief, and then became a shift manager, then became a manager, and they're making $100,000 a year plus, and they got a bunch of college graduates working for them. Good for you. I salute you for being smart enough not to go to college. So I'm not downing people that work at McDonald's. But when you have a college degree and you're working at McDonald's, that ain't anxiety you feel. That's responsibility you feel. When you're at home with no job, that ain't anxiety you feel. That's responsibility you feel. When you're watching me and you know that you went to church today and you still got a cross around your neck and you still pray to Jesus, that ain't anxiety. That's responsibility. When you realize that you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and you're still building somebody else's dream, that ain't anxiety. That's responsibility. Quit trying to medicate it and let it motivate you. Listen, about 5 years ago, I was living in a big house with a lake view of Lake Tahoe. I was driving a brand new Land Rover. I was getting paychecks every week. On a bad week, it wasn't 5 figures. That means on a bad week, it wasn't 10,000. It usually was 10,000 or more. And I was feeling really good for about 3 years. I was loving it. I was feeling really, really good. But then I started realizing that even though I had all that, I was still building somebody else's dream. Even though I had all that, I wasn't fulfilling my great basic purpose. Even though I had all that, I was not flourishing and prospering. And instead of getting that, and you know what I felt? I felt responsibility. And instead of medicating my responsibility, I said, oh, I got to make some hard choices. So I left the big house, sold the Land Rover, went and lived in a trailer that might have been 25, 30 feet long at the best, like 10 feet wide. I still had a lake view, but it was in the ghetto. And I was flourishing, and I was prospering, and I was living my great basic purpose. And now here I am. I ain't seen a $10,000 check in forever, and that's okay. I'm better than I've ever been, and I'm happier than I've ever been. And I don't have to medicate my anxiety by getting buzzed or getting high. I didn't try to rebrand responsibility as anxiety. I embraced the responsibility. Didn't call it anxiety. I embraced the responsibility and said, you got to do better. What do you really want and what do you really need? And are you really, really, really aware, or are you just a truther? Because you can be a truther and just dabble. And one of the problems we have, in the political realm, we got the rhinos, the Republicans in name only, and like Tracy said, it's called adulting. But I'm not talking about just adulting. A lot of you, it's not anxiety you feel, it's responsibility because you're not adulting. You are an adult, but you're not adulting. Let's just be honest. But I'm talking about, it's also called unindoctrinating, not just being willing to do enough to get by. If you want to be a truther, then be a truther. But if you want to be aware, that's a whole different ball game, ladies and gentlemen. Token Toker, and let's talk about Token Toker for a minute. Since he jumped in, he says he needs to work on it. Thanks for that. But see, Token Toker is different right now because he's got himself to a place where I know a person that doesn't usually hit the bong, right? And they hit a bong for the first time in a long time. And you talk about toe up from the flow up, they would toe up on the flow. It wrecked them for hours. Token Toker could have took those same bong hits and not even had a reduction in his analytical mind. So you know where you are. You know where your analytical mind is reduced. You know it. When you're drinking, are you saying I can never have a glass of wine? Does one sip of wine reduce your analytical mind? I don't know. Maybe. Does one hit on a bong reduce your analytical mind? I don't know. Maybe. Take your own responsibility, but quit blaming it on anxiety when it's just responsibility. But that's a great point, Token Toker. Thanks for sharing that. I appreciate it. Estelle says thanks for this too. So we got rhinos, Republicans in name only. We also got Tinos, truthers in name only. And Cynthia said it today. I said, Cynthia, it's great. Like 7 senators are going to object to the electoral college votes. That's great. But then Cynthia said, 7? 7? How many Republican senators are there? You know what? I don't know the answer to that. How many Republican senators are there? A little bit less than half of them, so a little bit less than 50, right? Because there's 50, there's 2 senators from each state, so there should be a hundo. How many Republican senators are there? Well, let's just say there's 45. And if there's 45 and only 7 of them, you're right, I'm going for the calculator. If there's 45 and only 7 of them are objecting, that means that only 16% of them are objecting. Less than 15% of them are objecting. That means that over 85% of them are rhinos. Well, guess what? Over 85% of the people that you see on YouTube are Tinos, truthers in name only. They're not aware. They are Tinos. Are you a Tino or are you aware? I'm just wondering. And if 2020 showed us anything, ladies and gentlemen, it showed us that we're right, and it showed you that I'm really right almost all the time. 2020 showed us that we're right. This isn't just something that we are making up. Tinfoil hats are more effective than the masks. Literally. If you have a tinfoil hat on, it'll probably retard It'll probably retard the MK Ultra coming into your brain better than a mask retards the entry of a virus into your body. And Trace reminds us that the two senators in Georgia are not going to object because they're rhinos, the ones trying to get reelected that Trump is going down there to campaign for. If I had been President Trump, I would have said, look, you give me your promise that you'll object to the Electoral College and I'll come campaign for you. If you don't, I won't. I think he should have. But anyway, he didn't. And Tracy is just saying. So where was I? Yeah. The tinfoil hat does better and more for you than the mask does. But everybody's wearing the mask and they're making fun of us for wearing the tinfoil hats. Come on now. But we're right. And we probably are more right than we think we are. All of these conspiracy theories, and this is why Steve Bannon is controlled opposition. Steve Bannon is not a good guy. Steve Bannon's one of the bad guys. Steve Bannon is being used to keep us from waking up. Steve Bannon, who says, I'm a proud Christian Zionist, is the same guy that says at least 10 times on his show every day, there's no conspiracies. There's also no coincidences. No, Bannon, there are conspiracies, and you're just paid to convince us that there's not any. In fact, there's more conspiracies than we think there are. Remember the original book that started this whole thing? It was called None Dare Call It a Conspiracy. And Bannon won't dare call it a conspiracy because Bannon's bought and paid for controlled opposition, which is why Trump kicked him out on his ass. Does it mean that Steve Bannon's never right? No, even a broke clock is right twice a day. There are conspiracies. And if 2020 has proved anything to us, Bannon says some people need a tinfoil mask. If they were tight enough, we could solve all of our problems with tinfoil masks because it would clear the gene pool. It would clear the gene pool. It would help clear the gene pool. Purge the gene pool is what I was looking for. 2020 shows us we're right. We're not crazy. In fact, we're probably underestimating the problem. And we do have a Not Your Normal Sunday Facebook page. And right now, we have the show being broadcast there. And I don't know if anybody's even watching it, but it's there. We also are on D-Live. Let me check out my D-Livers. They say the truth hurts sometimes. And it does. Christian Les loves the shirt. Nice to see you guys over there on D-Live. Nice to see you over there on Facebook. And we're still paying attention to you here on YouTube as well. Yeah, we do need to thin the herd. We really are the last generation of real humans. Nobody's asking me anymore why I say that, because now you know and you understand. Folks, we're right. It really is as bad as we think it is, and it's probably worse. We're being optimistic. All our institutions have been compromised. Our education system completely compromised. Our entertainment systems completely compromised. Yeah, we need to go like that stupid movie where Jamie Foxx was all wrapped up in the saran wrap. What was that movie called? It was one of those Tyler Perry, all black kind of thing, no white people allowed movies. It's a little bit funny, though. Yeah, that dumbass was about to suffocate because he wrapped his whole face up. She was telling him, you got to use the saran wrap. You guys know the story. All of our institutions are compromised. Religion compromised, entertainment compromised, sports compromised, schools compromised, education compromised, government compromised. It's all compromised. We're right. We are right. We're right. And just in case you were wondering how right you are, let me show you something. And I'm, Dan Bongino's another one. Dan Bongino has got a lot of good stuff, but he is not willing to really go the whole route. He wants to play it safe so he can keep getting paid. I'm sorry you got cancer, but maybe that cancer is caused by your realizing that you won't go the whole route. Maybe. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying that maybe it's something in you that you're not being totally legitimate, and it's causing that to react that way in your body. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just an asshole, but maybe that's true. I ain't got no cancer. Watch this. Just in case you think it's not as bad as you think it is, watch. I don't know why it does this to me. I mean, StreamYard's a great program, but it's not a perfect program. It should go to the thing that I switched to when I switched to it. So, a bill in New York State will allow the state to detain you if the state determines that you're a carrier of a virus or that you've had contact with the carrier of a virus. Just when you think it can't get any worse, Bill Alpha 416 in the state of New York, and it's not a law yet, it's just a bill. It's only a bill. It's on its way to Capitol Hill. Some of you remember that. State Bill A416 would allow for the detention of any carrier of a disease. And guess what? They can make up diseases or contacts that person has had to be detained in a medical facility or another appropriate facility or premises designated by the governor. The governor or his designee can simply have anyone locked up under this if he puts out the order. Talk about troubling and dangerous. And this is at, what's this at? This is at redstate.com. And there he is with his nipple barbells. And you can read the whole thing here. Folks, do you understand how real it's getting? And do you understand how much more real it can get? We really are the last generation of real humans. And I'm looking to build the last generation of unretarded humans. And it's a full-time job. It's a full-time job. So what's at the bottom of all of this? What's the real culprit of all of this? What does it all get back to sooner or later? Does it all get back to the New World Order? Well, yes and no. Does it all get back to the Illuminati? Well, yes and no. Does it all get back to the Freemasons? Well, yes and no. Does it all get back to the limbs? Well, yes and no. But the one thing that has facilitated this, the one thing that has allowed this to happen so on such a wide distribution in the United States is one thing. It's one bottom line thing that's allowed this to happen within the United States. And that thing is the Bible. Jeff, you're blaming all this on the Bible? Damn right I am, because it's the Bible's fault. Jeff, what do you mean? How can you say that? Well, I'm glad you asked, because now I'm going to tell you how I can say it. And Tell It To Me just did Power and Money. And if you wonder what the Bible's all about, power and money. We're going back to Thomas Paine, back to the age of reason. It has often been said that anything might be proved from the Bible, but before anything can be admitted as proved by the Bible itself must be proved to be true. Can we believe the Bible without being irrational? Can we trust the Bible without being irrational? Well, let's see what Thomas Paine had to say about it. If the Bible's not true, or if the truth of it is doubtful, then it ceases to have authority and cannot be admitted as proof of anything. But the lore is, if you listen to deceivers like Steve Bannon, is that this was founded as a Christian nation. Steve Bannon knows damn good and well that it wasn't founded as a Christian nation. And I'll debate you any day, any place, any time, Bannon, if you got the guts. But you don't, and you won't. It was founded by deists, who are the opposite of Christians. It was founded by deists who said, you can't put God's words in a book. Bitch, please. It was founded by deists that said, God doesn't talk to me through you. He talks to me directly. Bitch, please. It was found by deists that say, I can't tell you what to do. Only God can. Bitch, please. Chody, listen, don't interrupt me or contradict me because you're wrong. He said that he's a proud Christian Zionist. And they're not Judeo-Christian values, but they are. They are. It has been the practice of all Christian commentators on the Bible and of all Christian priests and preachers to impose the Bible as the word of as a mass of truth, as the word of God. The Bible's the word of God. It's the only word of God. And if you don't believe the Bible, then you're an atheist. If you don't believe the Bible, you're wrong. If you don't believe the Bible, the God of love is going to burn you in hell forever. Why? Because you don't believe the Bible. But here's the first thing. Is there sufficient authority for believing the Bible to be the word of God or not? And my point that I was trying to get back to is that everything that's in America is here by the presupposed authority of the Bible. America's great because America's godly. America's great because it was founded upon Bible principles. No, it wasn't. But it's Bible principles that have allowed for the founding of the America we live in today. Because here you go. Christianity is communism under disguise. I got to make another show on this. Go on here and look for the show where I showed you that the 6 seals, the 7 seals of Revelation are the unfolding of communist takeover. And the 7 seals of Revelation, which ends with one guy, a Limish guy in control of the whole the earth, one world religion, one world order from Jerusalem. Communism and Christianity have the same ending, and Christianity has been brought in to get you to accept communism, not only not fight against communism, but welcome it in. Why? Because you're retarded. Your brain's retarded. Your spirit's retarded. Your body's retarded. What is the authority for believing the Bible to be the Word of God? There's matters in the Bible that are as shocking to humanity and to every idea we have of moral justice as anything done by any assassins in modern times. Listen, Antifa ain't got nothing on your almighty God. ISIS ain't got nothing on your illimitable God. What do they call it? Jihad ain't got nothing on Jehovah. Nothing. Because you pick up the Bible and you read of where the Israelites came by stealth. That means they snuck up on whole nations of people who the history shows had not given them any offense other than not wanting to worship their God and not wanting to give up their land. And the Israelites put all those nations to the sword. They spared neither the young or the old, except for a few hot chicks and a few hot kids so they could rape. That's right, I said it. And they utterly destroyed men, women, and children, left not a soul to breathe, and they did it over and over again. That's in your Bible. And if you believe that the Creator of all things commissioned such things to be done, and if you believe that that Creator authorized the writing of this book, if you believe that the Bible teaches that the Creator says that those assassinations were done at his or her command, if you believe that, and you have to believe that for the Bible to be true, then you must unbelieve every notion you've ever had of a God that is morally just. Period. Well, Jeff, it's a mystery. Well, Jeff, you just don't understand. You're right. I don't understand any God that murders people for his own pleasure or for his own people. That's not a real God, but that's the God that is at the foundation of America today. It's that God that allows us to put mask over our face and say, oh, trust the government. It's that God that allows us to bomb people in other countries so we can have, we can buy radios for $9.99 at Walmart. And by the way, Walmart, it's that kind of God that makes us the kind of country that we are today. The deist God would not stand for that. And maybe that's why America's in the shitstorm it's in today, because America needs to get its ass together and get fixed because it's broke as shit. Let's move on. It's an unjust country because it's based on an unjust God that's sold to us through an unjust book called the Bible. The degree of evidence necessary to establish belief in the Bible is the same degree of evidence necessary to establish belief in any other ancient writing. We believe in things in ancient writings no further than they're provable or credible, or because they're self-evident. In the first place, there's no affirmative evidence that Moses is the author of the books that bear his name, or Matthew, or Mark, or Luke, or John, or Paul. The fact that the idea that they're the authors is just an opinion. In style and manner, these books, all of them are written to give no room to believe or even to suppose that they're written by Moses or Matthew or anybody. The style and manner is of multiple persons. But granting the grammatical right that Moses might have wrote the books that say Moses wrote them, and Paul might have wrote the books that say Paul wrote them, any man might speak of himself in that manner, but it can't be admitted as a fact from these books that they're the ones that really wrote them. You can't prove it. For example, here's a great one. Numbers chapter 12. Now Moses was the meekest man on the face of the earth. That means the most humble man on the face of the earth. So let me ask you a question, you Bible scholars. If Moses was the most humble man on the earth, could the most humble man on the earth say he's the most humble man on the earth and be the most humble man on the earth? Of course not. You're retarded in your analytical mind if you think that's true. You're retarded in your spirituality if you think that's true. And you're retarded in your physicality if you think that's true. Of course it's not true. But the people that write these books and the people that advocate these books, they can say what they please. But if Moses or Matthew or Paul or James aren't the authors, then they're without authority. But when a guy says he's the meekest guy on earth, I can guarantee you he's not. And he talks a little bit there about Deuteronomy. I don't think that's really worth talking about. Let's move on. The writer of the book of Deuteronomy or Matthew or Mark or Luke or John or Revelation, whoever they were, they're obscure and they contradict themselves. And as far as evidence goes with the writers of these books, there's no authority for believing and excusing the inhuman and horrid butcheries of men, women, and children told of in those books. And it's a duty incumbent upon every true deist. What is a deist? Let's talk about a deist for a minute. What is a deist? A deist is a person that says this world was created by a divinity. A deist is a person that looks around at creation and says, there's no damn way that this wasn't done without a deity. And a deist looks at creation and says, wow, this is amazing. This is beautiful. I need to protect this. I need to respect this. I need to learn from this. And a deist is somebody that looks at their fellow man and their fellow woman, be they red, yellow, black, white, whatever, looks at their fellow man and their fellow woman and says, damn, that wasn't created by accident either. And sometimes you look at a girl and you're like, damn, That wasn't created by accident. Hello. But the point is, they say that's a part of creation. That's a part of creation. And sometimes, ladies, you got things that aren't a part of creation, but we're not going to go there. And I guess sometimes men. But what you do is you say, oh, and if they're a part of creation, I'm a part of creation. Wow. So instead of listening to the people that wrote the book that retards your analytical mind, you look at creation and you say, wow, I'm part of creation. And if I'm part of creation, I'm part of they, he, she that created it. So it's impossible for me to have the original sin. I got the spark of divinity within. So everything that's been created is worthy of respect and protection and honoring. And every person that's been created is worthy of respect and honoring and protecting. And I don't have to look at her or him, especially, I don't have to look at him or her with suspicion, because they got the same spark of divinity in me that I've got in, they've got the same, you got the same spark of divinity in thee as I got in me. Now, right now, because the way the Bible is, I got to look at you with suspicion, because I know that you are born with a world of sin, into a world of sin. You're shaping in iniquity. You got original sin. So I got to keep my eye on you, because I'm just waiting for you to do something wrong. But if I believe in deism in creation, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt, because I know you weren't born bad. I know you weren't born with the original sin. You're born with the spark of the divinity within. So I give you a break. Over here in the Christian world, you got to prove to me that you're not bad, and the best you can be is a sinner saved by grace. You got to prove to me, so I can't ever trust you. But over here, I trust you until you prove me wrong. And let's be honest, until you prove me wrong twice. It should just be once, but at least twice. That was beautiful, Brandon. That's beautiful. Bible Centerfolds, Miss Deuteronomy. And over here, because I'm a Christian, if you don't believe me, and if you don't believe everything the way I believe it, my God, the God of love, is going to burn you forever in the lake of fire. And he wants us, my God wants us to love our neighbors until he tells them to kill every one of them motherfuckers, even the babies, smash their heads against rocks. Oh, your Bible's a beautiful book. And watch out, because here comes Plastic Jesus saying, I didn't come to bring peace. I came to bring a sword. Watch out, because here comes Plastic Jesus saying, I've come to turn fathers against sons, mothers against daughters, and all you bitches against each other. That's the difference between a deist and a Christian. A Christian's retarded in their analytical mind. A Christian's retarded in their spirituality. A Christian's retarded physically, because most of them are fat. A Christian is irrational. A deist is characterized by rationality. It's a duty incumbent upon every true deist, everyone that believes that there really is a divine being that created everything, and we are really created in the image of that divine being. People that really believe that. Our duty is to vindicate the moral justice of God against the bitch-ass punk bullshit of the Bible. Did you hear what I just said? Did you hear what I just said? And it's funny. There's somebody in the chat room right now that's calling me a demon. Think about that. I'm called a demon because I call out their bitch-ass God and their mentally retarded asses for believing that their bitch-ass God can kill people, destroy babies, smash babies' heads against rocks, and that Jesus, the Jesus character, condoned it. I'm the demon for saying that I believe in a God that doesn't believe in killing babies. I believe in a God that doesn't believe in burning people in the lake of fire. And I'm the demon for believing that God is way too good to ever burn anybody in the lake of fire. I'm a demon for believing that God is way too good to ever order the death of babies. Now, that's not what J. Jones meant. He meant Jesus was a demon, but somebody out there is thinking what it looked like to me you were thinking, J. Jones. So thank you for being having the balls enough to put a comment up there. And you see, I didn't ping on that one. I didn't get twisted. I just used it. See, I'm learning, and it's a CBD, partially. Wow. But our duty as people that believe in a God that's a good God is to vindicate the moral justice of the real, true divinity against the bitch-ass imposter of the Bible and all the bitch-ass imposters that support him. They even give you different reasons in the Bible for why the fourth commandment's there. Exodus says the commandment's there because you're supposed to remember that God created the heaven and earth in 6 days. But in Deuteronomy, it says you're supposed to remember it because that's the day he brought you out of Egypt. And let me give you a little clue. Those bitches were never in Egypt. There's also many things given as laws in the book of Moses that are not to be found in any other books. And there's cool things like the parents being authorized to bring their own children and stone them to death because they're stubborn. BLM, Bible Lies Matter. Let me ask you something, Christians. If you can't trust Moses, how can you trust Matthew? If you can't trust Moses, how can you trust Mark? If you can't trust Leviticus, how can you trust Luke? If you can't trust Judges, how can you trust James? Do I need to go on? If you can't trust the Old Testament, how can you trust the New Testament, which is based on the Old Testament? And if you can't trust the Old Testament, which speaks of the first Adam, this isn't pain anymore. This is Daugherty, and some people say it's more of a pain than pain. If you can't trust the first Adam, the Old Testament, which talks about the first Adam, how can you trust the New Testament, which speaks of Jesus, the second Adam? And the real question is, why do you feel compelled to do so? Why do you feel compelled to trust the Bible? Why do you feel compelled to believe the Bible? Why do you feel compelled to say dumb things in the chat room? I don't know. But why do you feel compelled to do so? Why, when I say something bad about the Bible, do you cringe? Does some part of you still cringe? It's fear. Oh my God, Jeff's going to get struck by a bolt of lightning. I'm waiting. Crickets, as usual. It's fear. Oh, I'm afraid if I say that, what if hell's real? So many people live in their life. What if hell's real? That's a shitty way to live your life. Guilt. Oh, I can't say the Bible's not true. I feel so guilty. Jesus died and my mama cried and all of that stuff. Control. Ooh, if I say the Bible's not real, then my family may not like me. My wife may not like me. And if you're on YouTube, if I say the Bible's not real, I can't get paid anymore because most of the people on YouTube believe the Bible's real. And I want to be like Daugherty with only 50-some thousand subscribers and no monetization. I want to be like me with 500,000 subscribers and full monetization, getting my $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 check every month. I can be bought and paid for, is what they're saying. I can't be bought and paid for. It's called Spiritual Stockholm Syndrome. You've been so enslaved for so long that you've actually begun to identify with your captors. And when somebody like me comes to set you free, you will fight against me on behalf of your captors. That's why I say you're retarded. Your mental analytical mind has been retarded. It's not functioning fully. Your spirituality is retarded. It's not functioning fully. Your body is retarded. It's not functioning fully and at its place of optimization. Why do you think I try to do all the things that I try to do to get you physically optimized? Because once you're physically optimized, it's much easier for you to be spiritually and mentally um, I always get upset with the people that talk about, oh, we're under attack, just because their shit doesn't work very good. But I am convinced that I'm going to have to go on a VPN or something, because in the midst of the show, my settings are being changed. My microphone settings being changed. I'm either being hacked or attacked, and I'm not sure which one it is. But guess what, guys? Now I know, so you can stop telling me that there's no sound. That used to make me trigger, but now it just kind of makes me chuckle. But yeah, I know that I'm off the air. I'm good like that. I watch this like a hawk. I see every one of your comments, so I'm watching. But we are actually getting um hacked or attacked. It's crazy. It's really, really crazy, but that's okay. Our sound is back, ladies and gentlemen. Our sound is back, and we can all relax. But the whole point of the matter is that we got to get ourselves together. We've got to wake ourselves up. We've got to understand what's going on, and we've got to understand what's been going wrong, and we've got to get ourselves back to where We are divine and sovereign and free. And we've got to get away from the Bible. As long as there's Christianity, there's the seeds of communism. And we'll make some provisions to make sure that we don't get hacked. And Laura says there's no content on the internet related to white Dianetics. That's because I invented it. Well, actually, a guy named Andreas M.B. Gross invented the term, but I invented white Dianetics as a thing. Because black Dianetics is what MK Ultra is. MK Ultra hacked white Dianetics and turned it into black Dianetics. And that's what you all know when they're here to make you think that Dianetics is bad, because white Dianetics will set you free. But let's open up the phone lines right now. The phone lines are open if you want to call in, because we had a lot of problems this hour, and I said I made a lot of things. Would I be willing to do a formal debate? It depends upon who wants to do a formal debate with me. I'm not going to do a debate with somebody that's got 6 subscribers. No. And debates are pretty much a waste of time anyway, because people aren't really trying to get down to truth. They're just trying to make the other person look stupid. But I'd be willing. I told you I'll debate Steve Bannon any day, anywhere, anytime. Absolutely, 100%. But am I willing to debate? Maybe. If there's something in it for me, and meaning if there's some people that I wouldn't reach any other way with my message, maybe. All right. And we got a call, so let's check out this caller. It's not your normal Sunday. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hey, Jeffrey, do you have access to Google Earth right now?
Yes, but why?
Go to Exmouth.
No. I want to know why. I asked you, why do you want to know if I have Google Earth?
Because there's a heart facility there. I can still be talking about anything, right? I need to.
Just tell me what you mean, and we'll figure out if it's worth going to Google Earth. Give me what you're talking about.
The way that it's set up and designed, it's you might find it very interesting. That's all.
I might find what very interesting?
The harp design.
The harp design?
Yeah, the way that it's set up.
I mean, are you talking about a building or something?
No, harp, the atmospheric meter.
Right, but what does harp have to do with Google Earth? I'm lost.
Well, if you went there, you would see. It's set up in the symbolism of the way it's set.
I'm sorry, but you're live with me, but let me just address that last caller for a second. I'm sorry, the rules, and I didn't say the rules, so it's my fault. To come on the show, you have to be interesting, you have to be polite, and you have to have a take and not suck. Get your thoughts back together and make them succinct and cogent and call back, because that really sucked, and we don't have time to suck. Now you're with me. What's on your mind?
Hey, Jeff. John here from Ohio. Been listening to you a few months now. Really appreciate what you've done. You helped rescue me from falling into the trap of Christianity.
You rescued yourself. I just gave you a little bit of information, and congratulations.
Yes, you did. Thanks. So I discovered you thanks to one of your listeners. I commented on something that God blessed to someone, or something someone chimed in, and I have a suspicion it was maybe Brandon or Token Toker, but either way, they say, hey, man, you need to check this guy out. And I did, and I love what you do.
I appreciate it, man. And I know that I'm a dickhead sometimes. But
you really are, but we love you anyhow.
It's the truth.
Yeah. It's necessary, though, sometimes.
It is.
But
not all the time.
I gave up Christianity years ago. But then all this shit started happening, and I was like, oh, maybe this is end time. So I started delving in, and I commented on someone's video. Another guy chimed in talking about how the Mandela effect is in the Bible, talking about, how now the Bible has new scripture in regards to unicorns and other shit.
I've only found one that I think is really a change, and I'm pretty much into it. I think there's one in there, and that's the lion and the lamb. That's different. It's now the wolf and the lamb.
And how about the Lord's Prayer? This guy swear the Lord's Prayer is different now than what it used to be.
That's because you got to understand that most Christians have never really read the Bible from cover to cover, so they don't really understand what they're saying. And in order for it to be a real change, it's got to be a change in the original language. And most Christians don't even know that the Bible originally was probably all written in Hebrew, but they think it's Greek and Hebrew. And there's no change in the Lord's Prayer in the original language. Zero. The only real change that I have seen, and basically about 4 years ago, I went on Coast to Coast and talked about the Mandela effect in the Bible. So I kind of created this whole genre. And the only one that I've seen is the lion and the lamb changed to the wolf and the lamb, and that's in the original Hebrew.
All right. So that's the cause of the Mandela effect, which is, really pretty remarkable. I mean, you think about it, like, do you think it was a result of, I don't know, like a shift of some kind, or, what caused the Mandela effect in your opinion?
Well, if you get a chance, you can go back in the Coast to Coast archives and listen to the show I had with George Norrie about it. Basically, what caused it, if you believe the Bible, and I don't believe the Bible, but I believe the Bible does contain some truths and some tells from the controllers. And it looks like to me that the Mandela effect was created by the Matrix, the rat bastard, whoever controls this world. It was created in order to, and if you look at the Bible, and there's some truth there, but it's not really truth. It's just them telling us what they're trying to do to us. It says that they were going to try to change time and times itself. So what they've really done is they've created multiple timelines, and they've actually shifted time itself. That's why I know for good goddamn sure that Ricky Ricardo said, Lucy, you got some explaining to do all the time. But in a lot of people's reality, he never did. But the reason why it's done, it's confused. Times have been changed. Timelines have been confused in order to keep people from achieving what in the Hebrew was called da'ath, which is full revelation knowledge. So number one, we waste a lot of time debating Mandela effect, which takes us away from true knowledge. And number two, things are so changed and jumbled up that it makes it harder for the casual to ever get to true knowledge. And you got to really be sold out the whole route like we are. Truthers will never get to truth because you got to become aware and go beyond it. Long answer to a short question.
Awesome. I appreciate it. And then just one last thing. I mean, so the unicorn has always been there? Because I certainly don't recall that.
It's always been there. And you got to remember there's how many different versions of the Bible. It's always been there. You are used to hearing a whole bunch of different versions and a whole bunch of different translations. But yeah, the unicorn has always been there. And it's probably talking about a rhinoceros if you get into the original language.
Right on. Cool, man. I really appreciate you taking my call. I very rarely get to catch you live. So I might be I'm going to try to be more able to catch your Sunday show, which I really appreciate what you do. Thanks a lot, Jeff.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate the call. That's a great call and a great listener. You are live on Not Your Normal Sunday.
Hey, Jeff. Joel Taylor had a really good question in the chat that I wanted to bring up.
Okay, what was it?
Being agnostic, is that similar to what the deists believe?
No, because, and that's a great question. And agnostic by definition means I'm not sure if there's a God or not, right? I'm not sure. Right. The jury's out. A deist says, well, hell yeah, there's a God. A deist looks at the universe and creation and says, only a divine being could have done this. A agnostic looks at the creation and says, I don't know if a God did it or if it was goo to you by way of the zoo. So there's a world of difference between an agnostic and an atheist.
Right. I just I wanted to clarify that.
Cynthia said
so that way
the difference between an atheist and an agnostic, or an agnostic and a deist, is an agnostic says, I don't know, and a deist says, I do know.
Yes, and as interesting times that we're in, I like to bring up the quote that there's no such thing as an atheist in a foxhole.
Yeah, that's true. And there's probably not many agnostics in foxholes either.
No.
Ooh, Tracy Dyer, deists don't box God in with religion. I like that.
Right. I think it's very limiting to think that the divine could be limited by a book, and that's literally what they try to do. And
oh,
it really,
absolutely
it bugs
limited.
me.
Absolutely.
Sorry?
You're to the Christian, the divinity is absolutely limited by the Bible, by the book, by a book.
Right. And we are fractals of divinity, and we should never forget that. We should embrace it.
Absolutely. What
The
other
thing that bothers me
Go ahead.
most is there are so many intelligent people out there that are questioning and interested in truth and conspiracy, but they draw the line in the sand when it challenges their deeply held religious belief. And I think that returning to Thomas Paine's Age of Reason is where we need to go.
Yeah, because the reason why it's because it's spiritual Stockholm syndrome. Oh, we can't talk about that. I love especially the truthers, not the people that are aware, but the truthers. They can talk about the Fed. They can talk about the Illuminati. They can talk about eating babies. They can talk about and believe about and discuss anything, but don't even think about questioning the Bible, because all of a sudden, no, we can't investigate that.
Right. And I like to reference Bill Hicks, as I did in the chat earlier. He talks about how we have these people come to us and say these really profound things that set people free. And instead of embracing them, we throw them to the side and we kill them.
Yeah. And then we burn them in a lake of fire.
Yeah. But,
can you
hey,
imagine
you
how, Brandon,
call.
Can you imagine this?
What?
Just imagine for a minute with me.
Okay.
So God is love. There's this all-loving God. He made everybody. He loves everybody so much, but he's willing to throw them in a lake of fire. Now, that would be bad if you made people. I'm thinking about my son. It doesn't matter what my son does or how bad my son is. I don't think I could throw him into a lake of fire. But
Right.
It's beyond that, Brandon. It's not just throwing in a lake of fire, but you're throwing in a lake of fire. Have you ever had a burn?
Yes.
I mean, and have you ever seen anybody that's had a burn? Think about Frederick Chilton on Hannibal when he got burned.
Yeah.
That's the God that the Christians want us to serve. Not only will he throw a person in a lake of fire, but he throws them in this fire where they burn forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. How could any being that could cause and inflict such agony on 95% of his creation? Because wide is the path to destruction. Few find the path to life. What kind of an enemy or what kind of an entity could inflict that type of suffering eternally?
Well,
How
Jeff,
could that be holy?
The reason why he goes by so many different names is that he's the jack of all trades entity and a master of none.
But how can people that, I mean, I look at Lynn Wood. Lynn Wood has done some brilliant work, and yet he defends this entity with all his heart. How is that even possible?
Controlled opposition. Like, there are so many sleepers hiding within, and that is why I trust Trump only, because so many people in his cabinet have come and gone, and while he's been using them to get specific things done, look at Pence. Like, if he's truly on the outs, like, I believe it, because look at what happened with Steve Bannon, and I can't think of any other really good examples right now, but the reason why there are so many people on fire for Trump is because they realize that both GOP and DNC are terrible. And
they're all
honestly,
CCP.
They're going to die by the sword. If honestly, I don't know who Trump should appoint as VP, as much as we'd all like it to be General Flynn, but there's going to have to be, if this was a military presidency to get him in there to clean house, it's going to have to be somebody like General Flynn to lead this military martial law that we're going to have to eradicate these people out of our society.
Now, Tracy's coming in on the side of the Christians here for a second, and I understand what she's saying, and thanks for the call. But she says she doesn't know if controlled opposition is accurate Many Christians are MK Ultra victims. So let's go down this road for a minute. I see your call. Hold on. Oh, that's an international call. Let me go ahead and take that, and we'll get back to Tracy. It's late night in the Heartland. Thank you for calling. It's not late night in the Heartland. It's not your normal Sunday.
Hi, Jeffrey. This is Bats in the Belfry.
Hello, and thank you for calling.
Hello.
I'm with you. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, there's a couple of things that I was going to bring up. First off, you've got a God, apparently in the Bible. He issues 10 commandments, but for some reason, slavery isn't addressed. You would have thought you would have put a commandment in saying that, you know, it's possibly not a very nice thing to do to own other people as property. Also, paedophilia.
Yes.
That would have been nice if he turned around and said, don't do this to little children. And, I mean, you know, Jesus, he has this vision where, you know, you've got Moses and Abraham and all the great favorites up in heaven. And it says later on, I can't remember which book of the Bible, but I'm sure you can look it up, something to the tune of, you know, no liars or murderers or whatever else will enter the gates of heaven.
That's in Revelation. You're right.
Yeah. But it also says, you know, the famous John 3:16, that he will be faithful to forgive your sins as long as you are repentant. So that means you can murder somebody, but if you're truly repentant, then he is faithful to forgive you, correct?
Well, that's how Moses and all them killers and murderers got up there, right?
Exactly. He has one rule for his favorites and another one for everybody else. Moses was only recruited after he murdered the Egyptian, right?
Ooh, that's a brilliant point.
Like Abraham, I mean, he pimped out his wife on at least 2 occasions to save his own skin. You've got Lot, who was apparently a righteous enough man to be saved with the whole Sodom and Gomorrah thing. First of all, he was willing to throw his 2 virgin daughters to the mob, bearing in mind that these angels, I mean, one angel slayed, 185,000 Syrians in one night? How many were killed in Egypt?
Well, it was a slow night in Syria.
You know, why didn't he turn around to the angels and say, you know, hey, help me out here?
Great point. Are you our Horrocks expert?
Sorry?
Are you the person that brought up the Horrocks to us?
Yes. Yeah.
I thought so. That was brilliant. People still talk about it.
You've also got David. I mean, he was a bandit. He thought about murdering Saul. And we got the whole thing also about, you know, if you commit adultery in your heart, then that's the same as you still committed that sin. So surely if he committed murder in his heart by wanting to murder Saul, then he's a murderer too. He also had this questionable relationship with Jonathan, his friend. So what happened to the whole homosexuality is an abomination, saith the Lord. And then he was an adulterer as well. He sent somebody's husband off to die in a war so that he could steal his wife.
Yes, he did.
One rule for his favorites.
And David was called.
And rule for everybody else.
And think about this. After all that, what was David called? A man after God's own heart. Well, how about that?
Yeah.
That says a lot.
And another thing, if this is truly a holy God, why was the temple built by demons? It tells you that in the Bible.
It does. Solomon had
built in 3 days by demons.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
So explain to me how the Holy of Holies can truly be holy. Is this the actions of a holy God?
No, it's not. That's a brilliant call.
So I know I'm just like throwing a lot, but I mean, I keep having these conversations with people. I keep asking these questions, and I keep getting thrown out of churches for it. And I have been since I was a little girl.
Well, I wish we had one because you'd be welcome front and center. Thank you so much for calling. I hope I hear from you again.
Smash it. Thank you very much, Jeffrey. It was
Bye-bye.
lovely to talk to you.
That was brilliant. It's lovely to talk to you. That was absolutely brilliant. And I would love to arrange having you on as a guest on the show. I'm going to put my email into the chat room, and we'll work out the time and whatnot, because I know there's I think it's 6 hours difference. But I'd love to talk to you about having you on the show, and maybe you just have a whole show where you do what you just did, throw out all these crazy questions and let people hear them and respond to them. So please give me an email there at what I've just put on the screen. It's gothamltd@gmail.com, or just go to jeffreydaugherty.com and hit, the contact button and send me the information there. Wow. It's 1:21. We don't have anybody else on hold, so I'm going to go ahead and close down the phone lines. This has been some great stuff. Cheryl, it keeps bugging me about this, so I will ask her. And Cheryl, if you'd have been listening, you would have heard the answer. But that's okay. I'm not going to chastise you for not listening earlier. So Carol says, please elaborate on why you think we need to be in martial law. So I'll do it again. I've probably done it 50 times, but that's okay. And why hypnotism and plant meds need to be stayed from. I'll talk about that again. And hypnotism is bad. This is from the last Friday show. Okay. Because I keep getting, as many, it's amazing to me. As many times as I've said it, I still get people saying, why do you do it? And it's a good indication, really. It's coming to me now, is that there's new people all the time. And it doesn't matter if I've said it a million times if someone's brand new. So Cheryl, thanks for being here. And why do we need to be in martial law? Well, because if you've been paying attention over the past 4 years, President Trump has tried every single thing possible, and he's still involved in trying every single thing possible. On the 6th, we're going to have the whole dog and pony electoral college vote show. I hope it works. I hope it works. I really do. And then after that, there'll probably be some more legal, some more Supreme Court. There's going to be some more show. And President Trump will be able to say, the second before he institutes martial law, he's going to be able to say, I tried every single judicial redress possible. I tried every single constitutional redress possible. I tried every single moral redress possible. I tried everything I could, and it didn't work. And you know what it shows by him trying everything that is possible? It shows how totally and completely corrupt the American system has become. Listen, folks, the American system isn't broken. The American system is gone. Our government doesn't need to be fixed. It needs to be demolished. And President Trump is showing that. So having proven that he proved, number one, that the House of Representatives is filled with liars, thieves, and spies. And he's now proven that the Senate is filled with liars, thieves, and spies. He proved that. He proved that the swamp is the swamp. But guess what else he proved? What this election proved. And let me give you a little tidbit. If they wanted to stop the fraud in this election, they could have stopped the fraud in this election just like they did in 2016. If they wanted the machines to work right and Trump to win, they could have done it quietly and easily, and no problem. We'd have President Trump in for 4 more years right now. But President Trump loves America enough to say, you know what, I can't do this because I'm only going to be another 4 years, and they'll still be stuck with this system. So what has happened is President Trump spent 4 years showing us that the House of Representatives is corrupt, that the Senate's corrupt, that the FBI is corrupt, that the CIA is corrupt, that the NSA is corrupt. He's shown us that Washington, D.C. is a swamp. But what the election showed us is that the swamp goes from coast to coast and border to border. The vast majority of the state houses of representatives are filled with liars, thieves, and spies. The great majority of all the state senates are filled with liars, thieves, cheaters, and spies. And it goes all the way down to the school board. The dog catchers are liars, thieves, cheats, and spies. He had to show us this for us to believe it. He's shown every single bit of the American system is corrupt. What he has shown us is that the swamp is run by the CCP. Your state is run by the CCP. Your city is run by the CCP. Your doctors are run by the CCP. Your lawyers are run by the CCP. The whole country has already been conquered by the communists, except for you and me. And we're the only ones that can stop them. And we had to see it with our own eyes, even me. I had to see it with my own eyes. I would not have believed that America was this completely, totally corrupt. But it is. We live in a little bitty town. Cynthia, 1,000, 2,000 people in our town? And it's corrupt. And we live in the middle of the heartland where there's still good people left. But our town is corrupt. The UN and the CCP are one and the same, says Tracy Dyer. She's 100% right. Terry didn't realize how deep and wide it was. You know what's funny? There's a song that they sing in church. You don't believe me that Christianity is the same thing as communism. There's a song that they sing in church. Talk about how deep and wide is, I think it's the blood of Jesus. Deep and wide, blood of Jesus song. Let me just pull this up and see if that's it. Blood of Jesus. How deep and wide. Yeah. How deep and wide. There's a crimson river flowing. Christianity celebrates a crimson river flowing. Communism wants to create a crimson river flowing of people. You know, God in the Bible wants to throw all the people that don't agree with him into a lake of fire. The gods of communism want to throw all the people that don't believe them into concentration camps. When you think about the lake of fire is just an idiom for a concentration camp. You're not going to die, but we're going to work you to death and keep you barely alive so you can work forever and ever and ever. But there's a crimson river flowing down the cross where Jesus died. It's flowing down the mountain through the valleys deep and wide. And there's a more thing, too, about how deep and wide the blood of Jesus is. But that's just a little tidbit there for you, just a little taste so you can see what it tastes like. Okay, so now, knowing that the whole system is broke, President Trump has shown us from the White House to your house, it's corrupt. And it can't be repaired. It can't be fixed. It can't be repaired. It has to be rebuilt. It can't be drained. It's got to be demolished. And now we know. So when President Trump surrounds the White House with tanks and troops, when the military says President Trump is our commander-in-chief, we refuse to accept. We have been sworn, military, and I've sworn this oath, you swore to obey. People think you swear to obey the rules of your commanding officer. You don't. You are sworn to obey the commands of your the orders of your superior officer. No, you're not. I've been in the military. You haven't. Shut up. You do not. There's a fountain flowing deep and wide. Thank you. You do not swear to obey the orders of your commanding officer. You swear to obey the lawful orders of your commanding officer. The lawful orders of your commanding officer. And the people that control the American military will not. You do also swear to protect and defend the Constitution, but you swear to obey the lawful orders of your commanders. And the people in the military, the majority of the people in the military are not going to accept and obey the orders of Joe Biden because he's not their lawful commander, and he can't issue a lawful order. So when President Trump institutes martial law, when President Trump invokes full executive powers, when President Trump invokes his full constitutional powers, emergency presidential powers, Insurrection Act, martial law, executive order of September 2018, when he invokes all of that, and you've got military helicopters flying over our cities and shooting rioters dead, I sure hope. I pray for the day when helicopters fly over Portland and fill Black Lives Matters people with bullets. If they're burning down, if they're fighting, if they're destroying. I pray for the day when the Apache helicopter flies down the streets of Minneapolis and fills Antifa people with bullets. If they're burning, if they're looting. We've been too decent for too long, and there's only one way this ends. This ends with the complete and total abject surrender of the Communist Chinese Party leftists in this country and the execution of their leaders, or it ends with the tree of liberty being fertilized by the blood of tyrants and a few patriots that get caught in the crossfire. I hope I'm not one, but I'm willing to be one if I have to be. Don't want to be. I'm not excited about it. So, Cheryl, are you clear on why we need martial law? Why are the plant meds to be stayed away from? I just talked about this for an hour on this show. But anything that reduces your analytical mind opens you to be infiltrated with MK Ultra. How long do you think MK Ultra is being applied and broadcast to you? All the time? Okay. Well, then how much are you willing to drop? How much are you willing to drop your guard, and for how long? Plant meds, alcohol, anything that reduces your analytical mind creates an opening for MK Ultra, demonic circuit Ingrams to get into your head. Hypnotism does the same thing. So, Cheryl, how long if there's a guy that you know has AIDS and his penis is covered with herpes, running herpes sores, how many times are you going to let him stick his penis into your vagina? How many times? So how much time are you going to allow your analytical mind to drop? Because your analytical mind is worth a lot more than your pussy. Can we just keep it real? Can we just make it real? Can I just be real? You'll protect that pussy more than you'll protect your mind. And I don't know you, but I guarantee you that your mind is worth more than that pussy. It just is. Protect it. Like you protect that pussy. That's a mic drop right there, ladies and gentlemen. I got nothing better than that. But since I'm a humanitarian, I'll take this other call right here because I think it's an international call as well. I'll wait for it to pop back up. It's not your normal Sunday. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. You're live.
Jeffrey, it's Bats in the Belfry again. I'm sorry to call again.
No, I'm glad you did.
Well, I'm wondering if maybe the reason why you're not getting callers is because your number's not up on the screen.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, that's okay. You're right. It's not. But I'm trying to end the show anyway, so I didn't really want any callers at this point.
Okay.
Bats in the Belfry, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That was very thoughtful of you. But yeah, our problem is not getting callers. Our problem is getting too many callers. And I'm so very, very thankful that. And tomorrow night, we'll be back with Late Night in the Heartland starting at 10 p.m. And when I'm on Late Night in the Heartland, folks, you'll be able to see this screen, which has the phone number on it. and you'll know exactly when to call and where to call and who to call. But I didn't really want people to call because we were trying to end the show. But thank you, Bats on the Belfry. That was brilliant. All right, folks. This has been Not Your Normal Sunday. See, I don't understand, Cheryl. How can you, Cheryl? Maybe people just don't know what CBD is. CBD has only very little THC in it. It doesn't have enough to make you high, and the making you high, that feeling of being that feeling that you feel of buzz, whether you get your buzz from smoking or you get your buzz from drinking, that feeling of a buzz is indicative that your analytical mind is reducing a little bit. CBD doesn't reduce your analytical mind. CBD does not get you buzzed. The idea is reducing your analytical mind. That's the problem. So CBD, yes to CBD. You just did, Preach the Poet. You can ask another one too. CBD keeps your analytical mind up, because guess what else can make your analytical mind reduce? Nagging chronic pain can reduce your analytical mind. CBD, in my experience, I'm not a doctor, I'm not making any medical claims. CBD can reduce chronic pain, which will allow your analytical mind to go up. Ooh, how about that? Yeah, I get it. I get it. What else can reduce your analytical mind? When you go batshit crazy and you like go off, when you are re-stimulated in Dianetic terms and you're acting all crazy, you're acting under valence, it's not you anymore, that causes your analytical mind to reduce. But CBD keeps you in homeostasis, which means on a and people say calms you down, but it only calms you down because you're in a erratic state. It brings you to homeostasis, which is balance. And when you're in balance, your analytical mind goes up. So there you go. CBD, no THC. It's got THC, but just a little bit, not enough to reduce your analytical mind, but enough to work. It's got to have some in it to work to its optimal ability. So there you go. Thanks for asking. And at least Cheryl has the guts to ask, because a lot of people get intimidated and they won't ask. And they used to say, the only stupid question is the one you don't ask. That's not true, because there's been some stupid questions that were asked. Can we just be honest? Donald, do you know that bless? Look what that says. Be less, you all. I know you mean it to be good, but words mean things. Oh, the facial cream is amazing. Caitlin's right. From the facial cream from HempWorks. I use that on my face, and they're coming out with a new one, Caitlin. I use the night one and the day one. It is amazing, amazing stuff. And if you're wondering what we're talking about, we are really going to end the show now. We really are. We're talking about HempWorks. We're talking about going to Whistleblower CBD. We got right there. I mean, we got the hemp that is great. We got the daily sprays, which are freaking amazing. We got the essential oils, which I'm using right now. We got the High Life Travel, which is amazing. Just go to whistleblowercbd.com. You use all this stuff anyway. Get it through your Christian Whistleblower. I'll get a few shekels to help spread the message of indoctrination. And you get the best products. And I can't leave the show without saying, Caitlin, that's what she said. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. It's not Late Night in the Heartland. It's not your normal Sunday, but we'll see you tomorrow for Late Night in the Heartland. I do appreciate all of you, and we're looking forward to seeing you again. Not your normal Sunday. Thank you for making my week.